You're listening to Well, I Laughed, Part 2 of Wild Women, Gone Shopping.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. So this is a work story.
Okay.
Practicing for nationals.
Oh, hi. I'm Maya. That's Grant. He's
Hi.
a speech and debate coach in high school, which is why he's going to talk about that. But if you don't want to listen to us talk about that, you can use the chapter function and skip. No hard feelings. See you there.
See you. So we had a kid come in. We're working on their speech, which is on gender neutral identification on legal documents. And so at the end of the kid's speech, this is the joke that we wrote today.
Yeah.
And I want you to guess what part of this joke this kid didn't like and wanted us to edit. Okay?
Okay.
So the joke goes like this.
Okay.
There are plenty of gay things to not like me for. I'm late. I'm bad with money. I have a $12 coffee order. But my gender identity, that's just silly.
Wait, say that list again.
The list is I'm late, I'm bad with money, and I have a $12 coffee order.
$12 coffee order.
No, the kid's
Really?
like, I am forever punctual. I will not call myself late.
Gays will really get up in arms about the craziest shit sometimes.
I just love that like I got to sit down and work with the student for a second and being like, yeah, is that good? Is that funny? Does that speak to you? We kind of want a moment here. And then after we fix that, we scrapped the whole thing.
Oh, good.
We were like, okay, so actually, no, never mind. Don't want any of this. We're going to do something else entirely. And that's writing,
When
baby.
your student asked me to like look over their speech, I was like, me? Are you texting the right person?
Nice.
I was honored, but also scared.
Full story.
Yeah.
I just hadn't gotten around to reading it, and the kid had been asking for days, actually maybe almost a whole week by that point, for me to like give them feedback on it, and I was busy, so
I don't know that I provided actually anything helpful, but
I liked a lot of the stuff that I saw. Yeah,
okay.
yeah, and we shortened it down a little bit too, like the
that's good.
entire speech, not just the new stuff.
Yeah.
Which makes me feel better too. I've been feeling good and creative, and I'm working kind of 4 or 5-ish
I feel like
hours
this is your
a day.
favorite time of year.
No, the week after the speech and debate national tournament is Pride in Denver, and
Oh,
the
that's your
start
favorite week of
of
the year.
absolutely no responsibility. That's my favorite time of year. It's also like so close to when I was having responsibility that I appreciate.
You still are feeling the niceness of it.
100%.
Yeah.
I've just broken off like my chains, right? I'm just running in the yard. I'm not currently lost somewhere in the neighborhood.
Yet.
Exactly.
Yet.
That's late July, early August.
We be knowing. I've been prepping for that time.
Yeah. So things have been good. I'm really enjoying it. I did also just come back from a trip recently.
Tell me about that.
San Francisco.
With your boyfriend?
Yes, with my like incredible, very hot, very sweet, very incredible boyfriend.
He's not out of the honeymoon phase yet, if you can't tell.
Never gonna be, baby.
Oh boy.
Imagine if I was just permanently like this forever.
I might throw myself into the abyss. Yeah, I'm going to find a tall building if that's the case.
Don't tell my boyfriend that. You guys have too many of the same ideas.
Yeah, that's fair.
No, it's great. When was the last time you have been in the city of San Francisco?
It's been since I was like a wee babe.
Yeah, okay. So
child.
kind of same.
Yeah.
I moved out to the Central Coast of California literally like a month after I graduated college and worked as a teacher, my very first year as a teacher in the Salinas Valley. Loved that experience. And it meant San Francisco and the Bay Area was our closest like metropolis, right? But also that was a 2-hour drive away. So to do it in a day is a 4-hour experience. So like, what are you really doing?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And also, there's a special kind of poor that is first year teacher, where you're like, this is my career, and
Barely making it.
I actually don't think I make any more money than I was making before any of this. But this job certainly takes way more out of me. And so that was like obviously a very fun time in my life. You could not drag me back to that era of my life, though. Very grateful it happened.
We are living expensiver lifestyles at the very least.
I'm so much happier. Like, could not drag me back to that area of my life.
Yeah.
Again, so glad it happened. Also, so glad it only happens once, really, you know? So I was back in San Francisco now with like kind of the ability to afford it financially.
Right,
you know?
right.
Obviously, no one ever affords San Francisco, right? But you can cosplay for a couple of days and
Yeah.
not lose the house when you get back.
As long as there is an end to that
Yeah.
trip.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
The look in Grant's eyes just scared me.
I got really knowledgeable on credit card points this weekend, which was good too. But having not been back in a decade and only seen like how the national news covers San Francisco, I knew what the national news was saying wasn't true, right?
Yeah.
But you don't ever know to like what extent or things like that. It's a gorgeous city that is maybe the most perfect area in the entire United States.
More perfect than San Diego?
Okay, so that was a big part of my boyfriend and I's discussion. And I'm going to say controversially, yes.
Okay.
Because what you lose in beach access, San Diego, best in the world, you gain in like density and public transit.
Oh, okay.
And also, like, San Francisco has BART, which in San Francisco is like an underground subway system. They have like a pretty solid bus network. And then they have the Muni, which is those old-fashioned streetcars.
Yes, I love that.
Which also apparently everyone back when they were first invented in the 1950s were like 5'6", 5'7".
You don't even know how that relates to today's story.
I'm just
in 31 minutes.
I love to hear it. But I was also like, oh, so like I'm just not going to be comfortable in any of these. But
it's actually wild that like we're getting taller as a race.
Yeah.
Like I think evolution needs to get stronger. You know, I don't like that we are now not affected by it.
Well, we definitely are affected by it.
In a much different way.
This generation's eyesight is worse because they play outside less. And your eyes focusing on objects in the distance is what creates good vision. So your screens aren't inherently making your eyes worse, but the proximity they are to your eyes are.
I think I was more talking about Darwinism.
Oh, sure, that too. Who also, real weird legacy.
One day we're going to get into it because it's fascinating.
Probably, yeah. Who does it, though, will be interesting because you're kind of the science girly and I'm the history boy. So
interesting. A two-parter?
Yeah. Could you imagine?
That would be cool. I think you would have to go first.
Tonight's subject was also born in... No, kidding. So city's absolutely fantastic. We walked everywhere. We also, I mean, obviously, disclosure, disclaimer, whatever. Like, I know where we stayed in San Francisco. We stayed right on the border between the Mission District and the Castro, right? Like, we took public transit to the areas of mass consumption that the capitalist system that we live in would like us to spend money in.
Yep.
Those places are oftentimes over-policed. I understand all of that. Still had a fantastic fucking time. Don't know what to, there's something about waking up next to your partner, window open. It's like 63 degrees, and it has been that temperature every minute you have been there for the last 4 days.
That's nice.
Grabbing a coffee, jumping on, honestly, like a cute little retro, but it's not
bus
like
thing,
bus thing, but it's also the actual most efficient public transit way to get to where you're going. And then this was the biggest crux of it all. San Francisco's cheaper than Denver.
What?
San Francisco is cheaper than Denver. We went to places. Okay, here's a fun test for you. Okay.
Okay.
We went to breakfast one day.
Yes.
Breakfast burrito, breakfast sandwich, side of tots, matcha latte, cold brew. What's the price point?
Like between like 50 and 75.
$43.
Fuck off.
I know.
If you leave me, I swear to God, I'll kill you.
For what? San Francisco?
Yeah, I don't like the way you're talking about it. Quit saying positive things about cities that I'm not in.
Okay. In case I was ever wondered if you loved me or not.
Don't leave.
I'm never going to move there.
Thank you.
But also could see absolutely a once-a-year visit. And we came to this realization, too, that there are just so many gays that live in the Castro, that the gay bars in the Castro just get to operate.
Is the Castro a neighborhood or a building?
Great question. The answer is actually yes.
Oh.
The Castro is a street. The Castro is a theater on the street Castro. And the Castro is the name of the very gay neighborhood built around that theater and street.
So it's the Castro, on the Castro, in the Castro.
Yeah, very, very good.
Thank you.
Like 89% sure. Some San Francisco people are like, wrong, totally wrong. I was pretty drunk on that street every time we were on it. It was great. It is like in many ways.
I got the most insane text from Grant.
Yes, a lot of that has to be on Patreon.
Oh,
I cannot.
I'm not going to say that on live open air.
A lot of fun times though.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. The gay bars in the Castro just get to be bars. And so I didn't have to pay a cover to any of the places that we went to.
That's my least favorite thing about the gay bars.
Crazy.
Here.
I am always like, of course, this is my gay tax.
Yeah,
like, this
and that's
is
fine. I'm happy to pay it.
This is going to be a much better experience than any straight bar we could go
True.
to. And this is what you pay to fly in United Economy Plus. You know, this is business leisure. This is the price for admission to something great. First night we're there, we go to the bar where that very first kind of tone-setting text came from. Actually, so many stuff happened. 2 shots, 2 mixed drinks, grand total, pre-tip, obviously, $12. I actually...
Are you sure your boyfriend wasn't just hitting on the bartender?
No, because also...
No, you're not sure?
No, I am sure, because here's also what's crazy, too. Shout out to you, San Francisco. There's layers to this cake, Maya, okay?
Jesus.
So we're walking into that bar, and I point to the sign that says it, $3 shots, $3 well drinks, and I go, oh, like, is that for happy hour? When's happy hour? And they go, no, that's just what the drinks are.
That's how that new dive bar is down the street.
Yo,
and
I
I'm
know
like,
it is. Maya said new dive bar, not nude dive bar, just so you know. The new and D in the dive.
Could be either. Honestly, I don't think they would
the
care.
Owner would not
yeah, the
care.
owner would not care.
And that's what we love about it.
I started running, practicing for High Rocks, and I ran past his place. I've been running like at crazy late hours because of how hot it is, and I just am trying to keep my heart rate low, and that gets very difficult when it's in the sun. And so I was running last night at like 9, and he was out having a smoke break, and he was like, yeah, Maya, and I was like, I'm a local.
The person who runs the liquor store that I always buy our wine from, like engaged with me in conversation today.
We're locals.
Yeah, they were like, how have you been, man? Well, how's life treating you lately? And I'm like, of course, like we know each other, right? But like, I might be the only person buying wine at this liquor store.
We're single-handedly keeping this liquor store. 100%. I've been liking how our episodes have been going with wine.
But one singular listener has written and been like, welcome to High Rocks, Maya. We're so glad to have you. It's a very warm, welcoming message that did not move my needle at all. I am firmer in my position.
To me at all. I'm going to need to find it.
I was like, if she still quits, so she has the chance to, like, I don't want her to feel pressure about it.
I'm going to do it.
Right. Yeah. Good.
I don't like the way that you're talking about it.
Unfortunately, I do think because you've decided to do it, you will do it.
Yeah, I'm going to hate every second of it, but I'm going to do it.
To use a phrase I've used on one of our other friends recently,
don't do it.
I'm just trying to create the rhetorical environment where quitting is okay for you.
Okay, me and that person are very different. I'm okay quitting. I almost canceled today's recording.
But both of you are engaged in questionable behavior that has all of us worried about your overall well-being.
I'm just depressed. That's all mine is. His is very different and self-destructive.
But is it?
Yes.
Okay, great.
What?
So back to the Castro.
Yes, yeah.
The district, not the street. Although that bar was on that street.
Okay.
And the theater was across the street.
Okay.
We went to a shawarma place, okay?
Oh.
Fries.
Yep.
Falafel balls, 2 giant euros, like $47. Everywhere we went, I was like, what the fuck is going on right now? Because these are Denver prices, and back in Denver, I don't make a San Francisco salary. I'm like, it has to be housing. Housing has to be the thing they're talking
that's
about.
All I'm thinking about. I feel like it has to be. I don't know.
Okay, so anyways, you're like, are you sure my like very hot and charming boyfriend wasn't just hitting on the bartenders? Yes, because here's the thing too, California. Sorry for like real talk with Grant and Maya on like what this trip was like. I have done a lot of work and like truly do love like the way my body is. Like I am proud of my body. I've been kind of publicly like disinterested in like changing it or like taking medication
You're happy
to like alter.
Live your life.
Yeah. In our community, the term might be bare, right? I'm not going to go into more, but there you go. Like, I'm very happy with who I am, right?
He's the barest bear I've ever seen. Bear.
But thank you. But also at the same time, that is not like the standard within our community for what is considered like valuable, prized, sought after,
And
like
that's seen in the other gays in our group.
Correct. 100%. And they could do some work on that.
In the other direction.
And that's fine. And so when we went out to California and we're staying specifically in a gay neighborhood, like I wasn't going to feel weird about anything, but it wasn't necessarily like, ooh, and then I'm going to be like the hot new piece on the meat market. You know, it was going to be like, you know, like the bartender will get to me eventually, you know? And that really is fine. There are worse things to be like poo-pooing about, you know? San Francisco, I was wrong about you guys. You're interested in whatever's out there. Does it matter if it eschews traditional body types? Does it matter if it necessarily says several times very loudly, and this is my boyfriend so-and-so, and you're talking to both of us together? A couple nights I felt like the belle of the ball. I wasn't ready for that. And I want you to know, it's not good for my ego overall.
It really does affect the ego, doesn't it?
I was like, you think I'm funny and hot? That's crazy. I mean, you're right, but so few people see it.
Unfortunately, I'm taken, but I like the way you're looking at me.
I'm like very fortunately taken. I'm like, I do not want to be on these streets right now. Look at you.
Yeah.
And look at him. But like, thank you so much.
It's a nice feeling to be appreciated by a third party.
It's also like last story I want to share, at least on Maine, about this trip. It was strange in a positive way where I don't think I'm clocking how like vigilant I am in like public spaces, either like in my own expression of queerness or when I'm with my partner. But like there's always that like background check computer software running in the back of your head being like, are we okay? Who's that person that just walked in? Like, where are the exits? Like, can we hold our hands here? Like, blah, 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 blah. And in the Castro, where that is the default, like...
That's nice.
It just disappeared, especially into night one, and then like did not come back until we were back at the airport, and like not really until we landed back in Denver. That like we could just walk into a gay bar, and it wasn't like this like
weird,
radical act of whatever, and then we could like walk on the street, even like in the touristy areas, and like didn't necessarily feel like there was this giant spotlight on us. And we've always felt normal, but I've then at this point also felt like unexceptional, which was cool. And I really liked it. It was nice.
That's fair.
I'm still not moving to San Francisco.
If you do, I want you to know I'm kidnapping your boyfriend.
I want you to know the next time we go to San Francisco, I want it to be a group trip. Like, I had that much fun.
I'm interested.
Cool.
That's a very cheap trip compared to the other trips that our group talks about frequently.
This is an addition to, not an exception
yeah, I know, but this one's a lot easier to agree to.
Okay. I've had to update one of those trips. I was looking to go to Oktoberfest. Couple of things are
also you entered a doctorate program.
Yeah, and that's kind of actually causing a lot of stress too.
As soon as you said that, I was like, oh, okay, so he's not going to Oktoberfest.
Hadn't given up that dream. Okay, we had been money wise for really since I bought the house like a year ago, and that put me in a nice little position. Ultimately, I went the trip to Oktoberfest to be like a big group thing, and so it's just not looking schedule-wise. I was willing to go with like my partner and like 4 other people, and we kind of had it, and then 2 of those 4 told me like last week, and they're like, not going to happen, love you so much, and I was like, that's fine. We might go to New York, though.
Oh, God, I love New York.
For like a quick little New York trip. Which will probably be just as expensive as Oktoberfest.
Oh, yeah, honestly. There's a podcast conference in New York in September that I was looking at going to with Aileen, but Aileen has some stuff going on around the same time. So we'll be seeing. I might just be bunking with Abby, who lives out there now.
Fun.
I know. That sounds
honestly, that'd be a blast.
I know. We could be city girling it together. I sent that to her, and she said the most devious bastards with like a gift from What We Do in the Shadows. I had something, and then I forgot what it was. My boss came to visit me at site today. I mean, he didn't come to visit me. He came to do other things, but I always think he's coming to visit me because I'm narcissistic like that. And he was like, whenever he comes to site, I know that the chances are he's there for like an event or a person or something, and that the chances of him taking a group of people out to lunch are pretty high.
Sorry if that was loud. Sorry, caught me by surprise. Caught me there. Got me out in the wild. Hilarious.
And so I knew that there was a lunch happening, and I had been invited to like the site walk portion of this day, and I couldn't like go because I had a meeting. But so I was sitting in my office and he's sitting out there and he's like, "You want to go to lunch?" And I was like, "Absolutely, I do."
Son of a bitch, I'm in.
Yeah, you son of a bitch, I'm in. And I like was trying to get like the other coworker that's in our office to come, and she like never comes to lunch, and I finally convinced her. And we get there, and I always love when he tries to tell other people what I'm doing on this project, because he's also trying to like educate the people that he brought to site about like what all the other
He's a good boss. He knows what you're doing.
And he knows kind of, but he understands that the scope is like huge, but he doesn't understand quite how huge. And so it always feels like the parent trying to brag about the student, but asking the student to like explain it all
what
to
are you
them.
doing now?
Yeah, he was like, and you work with all of those different clients, and like how many do you think you work with? Like he's trying to like gear me up to like talk about it. And
absolutely mom when like her friends come over.
That's exactly what it feels like. And I'm like, aw, are you proud of me? He's not, but I like to think it.
Never know. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, whatever. Today's story, I mentioned in the intro that I almost canceled recording, and that's not because I hate Grant or you. As you can tell by me getting my visceral reaction to the idea of Grant moving to California. But today's story, about halfway through the day today, I was like working on my notes a little bit, like right before lunch, and I was like, this isn't a story. I was like, this is a series of some like pretty related, but like not in any particular order, facts that are interesting and kind of funny, but this is not a story.
Did you start to do that thing where you're like, well, is there anything interesting about this character's hometown?
Yes.
Like, where can I build this world a
I started just
little bit
looking
more?
up all the names involved just to see what would happen.
There's a part 2 here. I'm sure there is.
I was like, I don't know. And so I texted Grant. I was like, there might be a chance this is a bear buffet moment where I like, because I delayed recording that episode by a week so that I could get like extra sources and stuff. And so I was like, it might be one of those. And like, and I was like doing the math in my head. I was like, I know he's traveling next week. So like, if we push this back, and I was like, yeah, we would still be a week ahead, and it would be fine if we moved it a week. And I'm just like freaking the hell out. And I get back from lunch and I'm like, okay, we're going to stop adding things to this clusterfuck of notes. We're going to start organizing it. And I organized it, and I was like, you son of a bitch, I'm in.
We got it. It's laying out in front of me. Hold on.
And then I like got one last source and like put it all together, and then Grant came over and I finagled whatever fucking intro this is.
I just want to say too, to give you the other side of what that conversation looked like. Maya and I are both busy.
Yeah.
She has her like traditional job. I have like work and then a series of errands and a couple other things I was all trying to get done today before recording.
I got no response until like an hour before recording.
But also because the messages I was getting were not like easy, quick, yes, no messages from you. It was like, this is a Bear Buffet episode. And part of me was like, oh, so it's going to be hilarious. And also you filed a Freedom of Information. And then I was like, oh, wait, hold on. No, maybe she wants to not record tonight. Oh, no. Okay, well, this is a fun idea. But so we are then recording tonight, but it's like different than the original recording. Okay, I'll get to that in a second. And an hour later, okay, so we're recording tonight. So glad I didn't get back to her at all.
Yeah, Grant doesn't need to respond a lot of times when I'm in my little head, and I just monologue.
3 years in, and I know. Listen, 59 minutes before the start of recording is maybe when I go, hey, where did we land on this? Just so I know. Either that, or if I start to get a hankering for deviled eggs, and I need to know if I can start that process or delay that dream.
Hey, can we make deviled eggs? Mostly because I do know how to make deviled eggs. I have made deviled eggs.
I am cooking breakfast because I'm so domestic now. I'm cooking breakfast so much more regularly, which in all of the things that I'm now in my house that are like brand new, like a rice cooker, rice, Spam, all delicious.
Yes.
The thing that is absolutely shaking me to my core and I do not know what to do with eggs.
Yeah.
So
no, I feel that. Every time Casey buys eggs, I'm like, what are we doing?
No, I know. Sometimes I'm like, I can throw it into this fried rice, but I really don't want to. I'm really liking everything else in the fried rice right now.
The thing with Casey is he's certain that the Best By date is the date for eggs. And I have to be like, hey, no, as a person who frequently buys food and doesn't eat it within that span of time, you got so much more time than you think.
But also, let's just just go ahead and make some space for just housing 12 deviled eggs every now and then because we don't do food waste.
I should boil some eggs tonight.
Also, 12 deviled eggs, you heard it here first, folks. Second slimminess thing you can do other than a stomach bug. Stay tuned for more terrible advice.
Thank you for recognizing it was terrible.
Very bad.
Yeah. Okay, so today's story could be, 45 minutes or 2 hours. We'll see.
We don't.
They do.
We don't.
Yeah,
they do.
So, you know how it goes. We're going to South London in specific, we're going to kind of talk about a lot of time, but we're going to focus mainly on the time between the two world wars, World War I and World War II.
2 British stories and a theme on wild women. Look at us.
Not even intentional. This story has been on my list for over a year, and I was just
excited.
Today's the day.
Okay, so 1918 to 1939.
Yep.
Great.
I don't like that you knew. I like that.
The end of World War I and the start of World War II. For funsies, I read a Winston Churchill book this spring.
I know. The Elephant and Castle Gang were the premier mob in South London, and their prime era was between the two world wars. They operated in, surprisingly, the Elephant and Castle district of South London. So that is the origin of their name, but they were also commonly known as the Elephant Gang or the Elephant Boys. They first appeared in newspapers in 1873, but there's a chance that they were around over 100 years before that. We just don't have the records to prove it. The one thing that we do know is in 1873, a member of that gang, 16-year-old Charles Bishop, was charged with highway robbery.
There were highways back then? Great, we love it.
Stagecoaches, I guess. But there is a potential that this group, as well as some of the other groups we will talk about today, were active into the 1700s. We just don't have solid evidence. So this gang, Elephant Castle, was not just one large gang, but actually a system of a bunch of smaller smaller gangs. Each gang had their own leader, but then there was a leader overall of all of the individual gangs. And at the time, it was led by sorry, I forgot their names. It was led by 2 brothers, the MacDonald brothers, whose names were Wal and Wag.
Like W-O-W, W-A-G?
W-A-L-W-A-G.
Wal and Wag.
Wal and Wag.
Okay.
Yeah. Wag, his real name was Charles. How the fuck do you get Wag from that? He entered the leadership role in 1918 at the age of 41 after he was discharged from the army. There were some incidents that around the 1920s that led to Wag fleeing the UK area to Canada and then to LA. There was a crime that occurred, and I didn't want to get into it. I didn't have time, frankly.
They went London, Canada, LA.
Yes. And so they're in LA.
Men love to fall up.
It's true. Apparently, when he was in LA, I think he served as one of the head bodyguards of Charlie Chaplin.
Wow.
Which was crazy. But anyway, while Wag is fleeing in the US, Wal, his brother, whose actual name is Walter, which that makes sense, took over the leadership of the gang. They had a third brother whose name was Bert. Tell me you're not loved without telling me you're not loved. Wal, Wag, and Bert.
Was it Bertram?
It was Albert, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he's the youngest. I believe it goes Wag, Wal, and then Bert in terms of age. Bert had often led the fighting arm of the Elephant and Castle Gang. Unfortunately, Bert was killed in LA. He had been visiting one of his brothers, or Wag, I believe. He had been visiting Wag in LA in 1929. And Wag would return to London from the US only after he killed the man who killed Bert.
I mean, that's dope as hell.
That's pretty fucking dope. That's pretty fucking dope. There were 2 other MacDonald siblings, at least, that I'm going to talk about. There was Ada MacDonald, who was a fencer, parentheses, criminal. I didn't plan that, I swear to God. But if you listen to An Offer You Can't Refuse episode, we talk about a whole fencing operation. And I didn't even know what fencing was. And now I've done 2 stories in a row that involve fencing.
She's not going on guard and then put your valuables on the ground and then back away on guard.
I mean, maybe. Who knows? If you didn't listen to that episode, it just means she's reselling stolen goods that she has bought from thieves.
Fencing was a New York Times crossword puzzle hint recently, and some people were like, you taught me this hint. Amazing. I had forgotten it, so thank you for teaching me now.
It's amazing how fast we forget things. Yeah.
On to the next one.
Part of the reason that this story didn't come together until today is because I was already in my next story, and then I was like, I should probably backtrack. That's not the order that this goes. Okay, so Ada McDonald is reselling stolen goods on behalf of 5 of the major London gangs. Specifically, she specializes in fencing expensive furs that get brought to her. The other McDonald sibling is Jim McDonald, who supported the other brothers that were in the Elephant and Castle gang, and then he would later work for a Soho gang leader. He has a son named Brian McDonald, who authored the book Gangs of London, 100 Years of Mob Warfare, which contains several chapters that serve as the primary source for today's story. And then he has another book that we can talk about later that would have been a deeper dive if I had gone into it, but he's a great resource for this. I will say his books read a lot more like a nonfiction than a lot of the nonfiction books that I have read for stories. It's very much like this person was there and then this person did this they did this and then together they did that. And so it was a little hard to get through, but it is interesting once you like start picking up like what he's saying.
Sure.
Okay, so back to the Elephant and Castle gang. Some of the leaders of some of the internal gangs included characters like Billy Endelson, who is described as having more brains than brawn, I think as an insult.
Okay. I mean, representation for us matters too.
Yeah. George Hatfield, who primarily operated like the racing operations of the mob, and then Charlie and Frank Pitts, who are credited with the original organizations of shoplifting sprees.
So they would catch this, go into stores, and just rob them quietly.
You have no idea. One of these leaders was named Tommy Benneworth. His nickname was Monkey. No further information on that.
Okay.
He was left to lead, I think, the gang as a whole by Wall, particularly during the year of 1925. I think it might have spanned a little bit longer, but he was kind of left in charge specifically during the year 1925, which would be known as one of the years of, quote, remarkable gang violence. So after this year happened, and particularly one of these events that I'm going to talk about right now, Wall pulled Tommy aside and said, "Hey, take it down a notch." And Tommy
We're
went,
criminals, but you're crazy.
You're right. I see it now. I went too far. But so now
I just don't think Americans would have that reaction.
No, literally never. So this next section is called The Riot. In 1925, there was a bar fight at the bar of Canterbury Arms Club in the Cut, Waterloo. This fight would attract headlines, and the thing that started the fight is a woman named Maria Jackson attacked another woman named Bertha Tappenden.
Yes, women can be criminals too.
Exactly.
Thank you.
With a broken wine glass. And it's still a little unclear on the reason why Maria attacked Bertha. Some say they had a falling out over a man, but both were married at the time, so that would mean that there, was an affair. But Bertha maybe tried to steal Martha's husband. The prominent theory is that Bertha and Maria were well known to be part of the female arm of Elephant and Castle gang.
I'm going to say their departmental organization is very interesting.
Shocking.
Yeah.
So the prominent theory is that the female arm of this gang, which is called the 40 Elephants, we'll talk more about it in a
So
in a
there's
bit,
Elephant and Castle.
which is the overarching group, and then
This is the 40 Elephants.
and 40 Elephants is kind of like the sister gang.
Okay.
And so Bertha and Maria are part of the 40 Elephants. And the prominent theory as to why Maria attacked Bertha in this bar is because that the gang was pissed off that Marie had married a man who wasn't a part of this underworld crime organization and was trying to leave the world of crime.
Okay.
And so they attacked her.
Real quick. This one of them smutty little novels that you've been reading.
There were some moments. I came across a story last night that I was reading New York Times articles, and like it's incredible. It's a family dynasty story, and it's gonna happen soon. But the way it was all of the smutty little novels that I've read, and
Wait, hold on. This was an actual story of things that had actually happened? Okay,
No,
so
like
not
a
New York
real-
Times fiction.
Yeah, no, it was nonfiction. It's like an actual real life story. And I was like, this happens in real life? I thought this was just in my little world.
I wanted to see a picture of this man that this woman's willing to risk violence to jump out of the gang for, you know?
Exactly. I
Is
don't
he
know.
like funny? Is he smart?
Unfortunately, with these people,
is she
it's-
related to too many of the mob people and just needs out?
Who's to say? That's really hard to find pictures of any of these women or men, honestly. So Marie's dad was a man named Bill Britton, who was higher up in the overarching Elephant and Castle gang. He enters the fight and punches Bertha directly.
Okay, so I want to just make sure I have all my players straight.
Yep.
Wag was in charge, ran away to
You really
LA.
don't need to know most of the people.
That's what I wanted to know. Wall is now kind of head charge of everything.
Yeah, but Tommy's really in charge.
And who the fuck is Tommy?
Tommy's the one that's in charge during this 1925.
Okay.
Again,
because
this
Bert
whole
is
intro,
also in LA.
this whole intro is so loose.
There's just a lot of layers.
Yeah, so
the
just
real players
are what we're learning right now.
Marie
and Bertha.
Bertha.
Yes, who are members of the 40 Elephants.
Amazing.
Yes. So Marie's dad enters the fight, punches Bertha, and he's a higher up in the Elephant and Castle gang. He punches Bertha and pours a glass of stout beer on her. And Maggie, so I'm just going to say a bunch of names. Don't worry about memorizing them now. It truly doesn't matter. We'll talk more about some of these people later. Gert, her full name is Gertrude. A woman named Maggie, and then a different man named Tommy all jump into the fight. So a bunch of people from the mob jump into the fight. Bill ends up dragging his daughter Marie out of the fight and takes her home.
Okay.
Sometime, it's either the next night or within the next couple of days, that entire group, including some of like the higher ups of the 40 Elephants, are out drinking and beating the dead horse, as it were. Like they're just talking about how fucking pissed off they are at Marie for doing all of this. So Alice, Maggie, Gert, and Bert. Incredible list of names.
Bert, the one whose ass just got beat.
Bert is the one who will die in 1929.
Spoiler. Unless we already
told
knew
you that.
There's a
Yeah,
lot
I
of
know.
names kind of in this story
Bert
right
dies. Bert is one of the McDonald brothers.
now. Okay.
So those three are the
It's Bertha.
Bertha.
That I'm thinking
Yes,
about.
yeah.
Okay.
Alice, Maggie, Gert, Bert are some of the members of the gang that were all together drinking, and they leave the bar around midnight and pick up whatever glass bottles they can find. Along the walk, they're now walking to Marie and Bill's house. They start grabbing bricks and stones and lumps of concrete, and also more members of the mob join them. So it ends up being about 40 to 50 people showing up at Marie's front door. Alice knocks on the door, and Bill, the dad, throws it open, throws a jug of water at her before slamming the door shut. But it's no use. They end up busting the door down
Family
anyway.
popcorn bucket vomit bowl.
Exactly. Full of water.
Full of water.
Yes. Anyone in the mob who was still outside, who had joined in on this like riot, who couldn't make it into the door, just ended up like breaking the windows and throwing whatever they were holding into the house.
Sounds like a party.
Honestly, a little
That's the
bit.
thing about our phones these days.
We don't get this anymore.
We're too distracted. We're too sedated to form violent mobs and attack
Mobs
our enemies.
of petty little things like
Right,
this.
exactly.
So they get through the door. We're going to see some violence. So if you don't want to see that, that's fine. Skip forward maybe like 30 seconds. They get through the door. They chase Marie's dad and brothers around from room to room with knives and iron bars, inflicting whatever damage that they can. The police end up showing up to break up the fight or break up the like riot outside of this house. Instead, the mob just like turns around and beats the shit out of the cops.
Can't say I'm shocked by that turn of events.
No, you came at a group of like 50 pissed off members of organized crime.
Right.
Like, yeah. So by the time the police are actually able to calm everything down, Bill, Marie's father, has sustained injuries which would require him more than 25 stitches.
Oh, wow.
I think they all kind of get fucked up.
Yeah.
Some of the men get arrested. Specifically a man named Sam Ashley. So Sam is a member of the male side of the gang. Gertrude, who is a member of the female side of the gang, tries to free him from the police and then herself gets arrested. After this, Marie, the fucking snitch, names everyone who was involved to the police.
But wasn't Marie the person they were trying to attack?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, like, I get it, but also, like, goddamn. She names everyone to the police, and then all of the, like, instigating people, like maybe the people that were at the bar initially, get picked up by the police and then released on bail, obviously. Alice who is the one that initially knocked on the door and gets the water thrown on her. She gets sentenced to, she gets released on bail. And then like 2 days after she gets released on bail, gets sentenced to 3 months hard labor because she was caught stealing jewelry.
Wow.
And in the end, so essentially Alice spends a lot more time in jail than the rest of them because she's in jail during that entire time leading up to her trial. The ringleaders at the riot ended up being charged with riotous assembly and wounding. Gert got an additional charge for assaulting and obstructing the execution of the work of 2 police officers. They all got at least a year in prison. Bertha and Alice both got 18 months, and then Maggie and Gert both got 21 months. And some of the men got more because they did more crime. But like I mentioned, this involves a lot of the women from the women's branch of this gang because these wild women were members of the 40 Elephants, which were the sister arm of this gang. They would initially be known as the 40 Thieves. They would then rebrand as the 40 Elephants. I found out that was actually probably a really smart move because there are a lot of gangs called the 40 Thieves.
Really?
Yeah. There's one, apparently one of the famous ones was from New York.
Because I'm pretty sure 40 Elephants is the name of several indie bands that I've listened to. I have been in broken down Ford Tauruses or the back of a vegetarian restaurant that does live
named
music.
after this.
We have 40, we're 40 Elephants so much. And it's just a bunch of photos of, sorry, not a bunch of photos. It's just a bunch of songs from this indie band about how the lead guitarist actually emotionally manipulated his girlfriend, but he misses her.
Well,
but that's just about my favorite song, The Airborne Toxic Event, and their song Sometime Around Midnight. Look it up. It's a great song. It's a great song.
So anyway.
Don't look it up if you're sad.
Today we're going to talk about the 40 Elephants.
None of that was relatable? That's crazy. Okay. You
Anyway.
went to an actual school. I got a degree in social engineering at the University of Nebraska.
Yeah, and that's why it doesn't make sense to me.
So the 40 Elephants, huh?
40 Elephants we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about like their main goals, I guess, as a mob. We're going to talk about how they're different from the male arm of the gang. We're going to talk specifically about some of the leaders of the gang over the course of its lifetime. But yeah, it's going to be a fun, silly episode. With
I love that.
The violence has already passed. That's really the most we're going to see.
I'm really looking forward to a couple of Michael Malloy analogies. I think back to that and just the number of references I make to like a Midwestern cookout party. I'll work on it.
Yeah, I recently was at an event with my gym. That's a whole thing I'll have to talk about at some point.
Oh, the underground
DJ thing. But someone was asking about the podcast and like we were just talking about hobbies and shit. And she was like, what's your most like popular episode? And I'm like, honestly, I think it's our first one. She was like, what was the story? And I told her and she was like, I'm going to listen to that on the way home.
The
and
man
I was
who
like,
wouldn't die.
you probably should. Yeah. Anyway, so sources for today, BBC, History Extra, the book Gangs of London, 100 Years of Mob Warfare by Brian McDonald, an episode from the Mystery Team podcast, Historic UK, an article in the Journal for the Women's History Review, London Museum, and some other ones just to fill in some gaps and double check some things. But let's get into it. Like the Elephant and Castle gang, this gang operated in the same area, obviously, Elephant and Castle, and they would change their names officially from 40 Thieves to 40 Elephants sometime around 1924, and that change is actually credited to Burt McDonald, the McDonald brother that would die in LA in 1929. The gang would have up to 70 members. One source said that it was like 70 members throughout all of its history, and one source kind of made it sound like it was 70 members at one time, but everyone seems to kind of agree that it maybe started with around 40 women, and that's where they came up with the number, but who knows. Their primary criminal activities were, what do you think?
I mean, definitely shoplifting, right?
Yes.
I'm just thinking of like, for the record, like gendered expectations of women during this time period. And it's like women be shopping.
Yes. Women absolutely be fucking shopping.
Is it then also pickpocketing?
Yep.
Women be getting close.
Yep.
And then they're shoplifting. And they're taking your watch.
That's really
it. Okay, I was insurance fraud?
Blackmail is like the other one. Their primary activities are pickpocketing and shoplifting, frequently in and around London's high-end shops, specifically in the West End.
Right.
This is a quote from a historian that has studied this group. Quote, people often expected women to be more honest and law-abiding, which would have given the elephants an advantage. Their operations seem to have been more sophisticated and organized than simply opportunist theft. And that's part of what set them apart from the male arm of their gang.
Isn't it fun to know that we've walked the same sidewalks that members of the 40 Elephant did?
There are things that are mentioned in this story that I was like, I've been there!
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And also, having been in that neighborhood several times, love it. Super easy to like bump into someone and then accidentally take their wallet.
I'm always aware of that. The women would then dispose of most of their stolen goods through a chain of fences and throughout London. Their fences were usually at depots in and around the Elephant and Castle area. And
or like depots as in like train depots?
Yeah, or something, yeah. Mostly these were areas that were protected by the Elephant and Castle boys. Yeah, unlike Pasquale's finest fencing of, of that last episode. They specifically would target fancy items like jewelry, designer clothes, furs, hosiery, leather goods, silks, I think were some of them, just straight up jewels.
Sure.
They were known to have a corporate-like internal structure, and they were also known to meticulously plan their criminal activities, planning their crimes with, quote, the exactitude of board meetings. Yeah. That makes absolute fucking sense for a gang run by women.
I said this before.
Yeah.
In student government back in college. Mm-hmm. I won an award for it, and it wasn't most annoying, but if I had won 2 awards, the second one would have been most annoying.
Well.
I was famous for like, if everyone could turn to page 394, section B of paragraph 3, we're looking at the second clause. I'd like to change the word.
I can see that.
And I also, in my heart, a little bit feel like a criminal, wrapped around anxiety that could never actually pull off a crime. But down inside, I'm like,
I got it in me.
Be gay, do crime.
Yeah, exactly. By changing that word. One of the first criminals was Charlie Pitts, born in 1865. They were credited with creating the original large-scale network, and it would grow from there. It may have been as early as the 1700s, like I mentioned earlier, which is nuts to me that there's the potential of a large-scale female gang existing in the 1700s. The first historical records of the criminals as a group is in the 1870s. The leading lady of this group would always be known as the Queen.
I love that.
Already incredible. This role was also not an elected role. It was just like bestowed upon whoever the group kind of inherently trusted the most.
Okay.
So it was just
you can literally, it's a meritocracy, but you're going to beat your way to the top.
Yeah, like kind of like who's already kind of leading this shit. Like,
okay.
If we're all trying to decide who goes to dinner, like it would be Lydia or Casey.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Like it's that kind of thing where it's like we know who be leading us.
We're happy henchmen, but that's not
what's going on. Yeah, that's not our decision
No.
to make. I didn't see any sources saying that there was any infighting over the role of the Queen, but that doesn't mean that there wasn't any.
Right.
Especially since most of these facts are gathered by police records and secondhand reports. But the group was able to last for so long, in part because younger members, who are often related to current members or members of the Elephant and Castle gang, were always being brought in. And like I said, some sources said the group would typically fluctuate, but stay around 40 members. So we're going to talk about the Hoister Code and some of their procedures. In general, they engaged in theft of basically any variety.
Okay.
They largely focused in the West End, but when they left town, they would also run their operations in whatever town they were in. So, like earlier on in the operation,
leave your work at home, ladies, you know?
Later on in the operation, they would leave because they were too well known. And like they would need to give everybody just like a break to like relax. And a lot of their faces were so well known that like everyone would immediately get anxiety whenever they saw anyone there that looked like they were part of the 40 Elephants. Otherwise, they would fully just leave when London got too hot.
Can I ask, are there roughly 40 of them, or is that just like a fun number?
That's what some sources said, but then there was one source that confused me and said it was 70 people overall.
Okay.
So a little confused, but I think
feels like kind
around
of a
40.
big gang, you know? I mean, maybe I'm getting my like sense of like population off, but it feels like that's kind of a big gang.
Pretty big gang, yeah. When they would leave town, they would utilize railway stations and they would put empty like suitcases basically in the railway car and then fill it up with stolen shit for the return trip and then sell it when they got back to London, or they would just fully mail shit back to themselves in their to their London address.
To 100 Avenue,
Yeah.
40 Elephants Club.
Yeah, and everyone's like, what the fuck? This is my favorite
The
fucking
federal government will get you for that. You cannot use the federal government postal service
For
a
crime.
McDonald's or the people who defraud it.
get with the times. This is my favorite part about this group is that they had specially tailored garments which had hidden pockets all over. They have this is the Victorian-ish era is when this started. They had so many pockets to hold items. They were all made, at least during this interwar era, by one woman named Gertrude Scully. Law enforcement was routinely amazed at how much could be stuffed into their specially made coats, cummerbunds, muffs, skirts, bloomers, and, hats.
I mean, I have talked to you about boy pockets before. Now I have fit full burritos
I'm
into
actually
a boy pocket
increasingly
before.
certain that this gang might be the reason that women are not allowed to have pockets anymore.
We gave them to you. Men used it to store traveling burritos.
And
you stole.
You robbed shit. So I'm like, okay.
Second, what social class are most of these women? I mean, they have to be working class, right?
A lot of them came from very, very poor families.
Okay.
But once they're in this gang, they start making so much money that
Sure.
they're acting like they're in
Well,
this.
and
like,
they have access to the things that would project
Yes,
wealth and
exactly.
acceptability.
Half of the time, they're trying to get money so that they can buy things that would project an upper class status,
Interesting.
right? So their skirts are basically lined from the waist downward, providing them a ton of space to shove
Amazing.
shit. And sometimes even beyond that, they would wear multiple layers of dresses that had those kinds of pockets so that they could shove even more shit in
It
there.
is your hand clawed onto
Yeah.
a beer stein.
I literally have a note that says, "Great, remember that one time I stole something when we were traveling by putting it
all
under
the
my
time.
skirt?"
Because the thing about that story that
Yeah.
always shocks me. Do you know what it is? The
No.
thing that always shocks me?
How warm it was. In the video when I pull it out
What?
and give it to you, you're like, "Oh my god, oh it's warm," and then you give it back to me.
Okay, so super drunk. So
I
no,
stole
I did not.
a drinking vessel from somewhere that will remain
Our
nameless.
German listeners, please do not, under
Don't come
any
after me.
circumstances, tell your local officials. No, the thing that shocks me the most isn't A, that you would do it, or B, that you got away with it, or even C, that it fit in your dress. I have faith in you. The idea of holding on to something, even if I truly wanted it, for more than an hour is insane to me. That's
I was
crazy.
dedicated to my
the
craft.
way I would be putting that baby down, the way I'd be sitting on it like a mother goose.
The way
just
we
I
were
don't wanna hold on
checking
to
out
it.
the chocolate stands, and I was just putting trying my best to not be suspicious with only one
would
hand.
love to see it. Do you want a snack? No, I'm okay. Thanks. Oh, are you holding it? Oh, okay.
Okay,
Then
yeah,
I'll
I got
take
it.
a couple.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what was happening.
I would love a video because I was so oblivious to what was going on.
You can see it, and there's that picture that the group of us took
In front of that windmill?
Yeah, I'm holding it in my pocket in that moment.
Look at you. Is that a girl or is that 40 elephants?
Are you calling me fat?
No, I'm calling you a thief and a criminal.
Okay, well, there's truth to every stereotype.
I guess also calling you British, so process that as you will.
Oh, well, okay, we'll see. I don't think I can get behind some of the colloquial phrases, but the 40 Elephants also took advantage of the stricter expectations of women, specifically in the Victorian era and in this interwar period. Some of the rule, it was very socially acceptable for women to be seen in these department stores that they're going in, specifically around this time because everything's booming and that's what they do during the day. They don't work, they just go shopping. Women be shopping. It was also considered inappropriate to approach a woman without her husband. And so the shopkeeper, the shop
Good for
attendant wouldn't even it would be considered rude to hover while they're shopping.
Right.
And so they're kind of just fucking left alone.
No one look, okay, this is mine,
Yeah,
this is mine,
this is mine. All of the members of the 40 Elephants spent significant time in court and in jail as a result of their actions.
Really putting the dash in haberdashery, you know what I mean?
What?
Beat it, they're onto us.
I'm going to act like I understood that reference.
Haberdashery is, I believe, a ribbon and hat shop.
Oh, okay.
Really popular at the time.
Okay, good. Didn't
Maybe not the 1920s.
did not know that was what that store was called.
Gonna Google that real quick.
Okay, cool.
Oh, my own haberdashery is up. prideapparel.com.
Is that a website?
For a little bit longer, they're going out of business. I think they're actually just changing the name.
Oh.
I think they got to get rid of their like branded stuff.
They get
A
trademark.
haberdashery. You would never guess how it's spelled.
Oh no! Wait, okay.
HABERD. ASHERY. Like it makes sense when you spell it out,
haberdashery.
but it's like, oh, okay, there's a lot.
That's a lot. Yeah.
It looks like hard Ashley if you're a little drunk on red wine, just so you know. If you're a little drunk on red wine,
Not speaking from
about an hour
experience,
into an episode, it looks a lot like hard Ashley.
Hard Ashley.
A haberdashery is a retail shop that sells sewing supplies, fabrics, and notions.
What the fuck is a notion?
Like zippers, buttons, and threads.
Oh, okay.
In the UK, but
Hey, I told you that.
yeah, 100%.
Okay.
I bet it's like pulling from somewhere that I can link, and that's almost the same thing. It looks like it's pulling from vocabulary.com.
And Google has recently changed, I think, some of their practices, and now those websites do have to get like clicks or something when they scrape.
Do they really?
I think that was, or if it's not been litigated, it is being litigated.
I wrote this insane note in my phone the other night as I was going to bed, because like Google's also like, maybe Google's just like a conversation thing, and you can't look at any articles at all if you want anymore. Did you see that update? It's, I think, still being test piloted.
Okay.
But I had this crazy like middle of the night thought, and it was like, if Google won't tell you anything, you must know things.
I had a middle of the night thought that was actually just when I was toasty, and it's been in my notes app for a while now to bring up at some point on the podcast, so now's as good a time as any.
Is this a notion?
Yeah.
Is this a haberdashery?
Is
this a hard Ashley?
This is a hard Ashley haberdashery.
We're going to get back to the story in 31 minutes. You're fine.
Nuts don't want to be eaten.
Hey, hold on, babe. They like 100% do.
Yeah, except they're like, why? Like dogs can have peanut butter, but not peanuts.
Dogs can't have peanuts.
Yeah.
What next? Babies can't have water. Babies should not have water. Hey, you should, as an aunt-in-law, you should know that.
No one's trusting me with feeding a baby.
Not have water.
Baby has to be weaned before it's eligible to be held by Aunt Maya.
What are you, a fucking medieval knight?
Yeah. Nuts don't want to be eaten.
I think they do because that's how they get spread.
No, they get spread by like attaching onto animals and then being planted. Like if you eat them.
What do you think bird poop is doing? You stupid
the full
bitch.
Nut
What
is
do you
not
think?
in the bird poop. The whole nut has to be planted in order for it to
I don't want to
sprout.
get into details of who ate what and shat where in the woods, okay? All I know
Nuts don't want to be eaten, and I'll
is-
stand on it. I just bought a thing of cashews, and I'm excited to torture them.
What are you going to do? Put it in some milk chocolate? Yuck.
Why would I do that?
Thank you.
Why did you think about that?
You ever had a cashew cluster kind of rolled in caramel covered in milk chocolate?
I was thinking chocolate milk. I was like, why the fuck would you put cashews?
Okay. If in the middle of the episode, for only the true fans who stay with us word for word, you want to know what my incredible boyfriend was like, do not do work on this vacation. Neither one of us brought our computers. It was really good. But like, that's in my, like, there's the bone is in me. And so there were a couple moments where I'd like make sure he wasn't looking, and I would open up my Safari app. And I'm positive lattes are just a feature of the U.S. dairy industry. Like, I'm actually positive it's part of a federal buyback program. Because what do you mean you bitches out here drinking iced milk with one espresso shot in it? Okay. Did you know the espresso shot amount doesn't change if you get 12 or 16 ounces? It's just more milk, Maya. It's just more milk.
Hey, I be knowing. Half the reason I do a latte is because I struggle to eat the number of calories I need to in a day, and it actually really starts off my morning with actually some calories.
Are you a plant of the U.S. dairy industry?
Yeah.
Get that?
If anyone is, it's fucking me.
Where we last left,
I don't know where we last
was
left.
a haberdashery
right?
that was allowing poor women dressed as fancy women in, and then being robbed by them.
Yes, these women.
Excellent summary.
That's pretty good. These women spent significant time in court and jail as a result of their actions. However, most of the time, if they are caught by law enforcement or the shopkeepers, they don't have anything on them. And that's because their operation is built like a well-oiled machine.
Hell yeah. Are they passing it off?
Immediately.
Fuck yes, they are.
We're going to talk about some of their like procedures that they did. The thief was known as the hoister. And then they would pass it to what they called the booster, which is the person that would, as quickly as possible, get the stolen items away from the place it was stolen to either a like safe place, like some other place, or a place protected by their muscle, which was the men of the Elephants and Castle Gang. When cars became more readily available around the turn of the century, they would actually invest specifically in high-powered cars that could outrun police pursuits.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes actually they would do an Uno reverse though. They would like rob a place and then like run out of the store, hop into the car and speed away. But actually they would pass off the stolen stuff to someone who's on foot.
I love it.
And
so
the
walking
police,
the opposite direction.
and the police are completely just following the car. And even if they catch the car, there's nothing in there.
It's a speeding ticket. That's all you're getting this for.
Exactly. If they are caught, they are facing 3, 6, 9, or 12 months with hard labor, potentially escalating to 3 years of penal servitude.
Okay.
Somewhat ironically, in the early 1900s, they would spend time in prisons, specifically the Holloway prison was mentioned, at the same time as some of the suffragettes who were being imprisoned for their fight to the right to vote. So it's
a bunch of fussy women that should know their... I'm kidding. Could you imagine?
So half of the women are like, I should be able to vote in this system. And the other half of the women are like, I should be allowed to rob these department stores blind.
You can't put me up for a fair trial because according to those broads, there's not a jury of my peers.
Interesting. Now wait a goddamn minute. Okay, we're now going to talk some of their strategies. One of their strategies is they would enter a store and ask to see some of the items, and then they would continue shopping, especially because they're targeting some of these high-end stores. Like you have a clerk that's pulling things off shelves and out of cabinets and stuff for you. And so they would continue shopping until there's like a good number of things on the counter. And then when the shop manager or whoever is getting something fresh, like has their back turned to the window or the shelves, one of the women would continue to keep the manager distracted while the other one started slipping items into their fucking pockets. Pocket. Another strategy, they would get fake credentials to get hired as housekeepers under fake names to work at mansions and then rob those houses blind.
Here's the thing, good for you, but that feels like not creative at all.
We're starting out with the less creative. We're getting more creative.
Are they providing like fake letters of recommendation? Like how are they pulling all of this off?
I don't know if the letters of rec for housemaids went that deep.
Here's the thing. It's a huge plot point in Downton Abbey where they're like, you leave right now and we'll provide you a letter of recommendation sufficient enough for you to get another job.
Then I'm assuming they had forged letters
this
of rec.
to the public, you will never work again. And they're like, fine, but one day it's going to be poor people's turn to rule things. And it's like Downton Abbey trying to do class consciousness for a second.
Okay, Professor McGonagall, let's all calm down.
It's called Dr. Thomas in about 2.5 years.
Well, talk to me in 2.5 years then. Another strategy was just straight blackmail. They literally ran honeypot schemes. Like they would lure gentlemen into compromising positions and accuse the man of attacking her, and then they would have planted members of their gang be like, I saw you did that,
right?
And then the man would more often than not be willing to part with anything valuable he had on him at the time so that they would leave him the fuck alone.
We won't ruin your entire life if you give us everything right now. What a deal.
What a deal.
But also, don't go playing around behind your wife's back, you know?
Also, half the time, they didn't even lure them into a compromising position. They just, like, went up to them to ask for directions, and then suddenly were like, I can't believe that you just attacked me like that.
Oh, my God. What an anxiety attack.
The other women were like, I saw that.
Meanwhile, suffragettes are like, men, what do you mean you can't talk to women?
Well.
Also, hold on. Oh, just lost it. Wait, hold on. It's right there.
I believe in you.
I think another thing about all this too is I would feel more remorse if the men they were robbing were not rich because of ill-begotten gains.
Truly.
Like there is no good rich person kind of ever, but especially like during this time.
No ethical consumption.
Yeah.
At all. Yeah.
Oh, did you strip mine a mountain in Africa in which you have like half enslaved the Congolese? Or maybe your family's old money and you've just kept like generations of serfs in your Yorkshire like fucking palatial estate.
Yeah,
you know?
I have a lot of trouble feeling pity for
Correct.
a lot of
you were
the rich
literally
people.
born into power. You did not do anything
earn
to
this shit,
deserve
yeah.
or earn.
These women, however, are
Yeah.
literally climbing up the ladder rung by rung.
Correct.
Some of their operations had names, so we're going to talk about a few of them. This one is called the decoy. 2 or 3 women would walk into a store, I think at separate times, and each one would kind of pick something or some things that they wanted to steal. And they would kind of head for different exits. And usually the stores at this time, just of note, were only manned by like one person
Sure.
or so. Eventually later on, they would start hiring like store detectives. And then after that was when security systems would start getting into place. So right now, there's only one person. And so if the sales associate would try to stop any of the women, they're all in different places around the store. And the one that got stopped would say, oh, I'm just bringing it closer to the window so I can see it in the light. And then the other 2 escape with
They're like,
everything.
beat it!
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Later on in the operation, when the gang is better known, especially by these high-end stores, they would literally use the like well-known, like higher profile people as the decoys.
Oh, so they're like, I know you're a thief.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Because they would walk,
shove.
because they would walk in and immediately everyone would just have eyes for that person watching them. Yeah. Meanwhile, they're being robbed blind. This one is called...
This has formed like a really nice story, but there
Yeah.
are moments where I'm like, oh, this was just a collection of facts.
Yes. Yeah.
You have formed a really nice story.
Thank you, but it is just a collection of
In my
facts.
mind, it's the same 2 girls with the occasional 3rd girl in every now and then, you know?
So basically this gang operated in like little cells of like 3 to 5 people so that they could operate these operations separately without endangering the rest of the gang.
In my mind, main characters in our story have been red dress, purple dress with occasional yellow dress.
Okay.
Like that is...
We're going to talk about 3 of the leaders.
Oh, great.
So you can assign dress colors to them.
That's the way my brain has functioned. Everything is just,
that's
it's
fine.
the same person. And then, you know, I mean, the women are faceless. Like they don't have an identity, obviously. But
Because they're women.
right.
Yeah. This next strategy is called the ringer. A woman would go into a jewelry store alone to look at engagement rings. She wouldn't buy anything.
Lucky girl.
Yeah. The next day, she would return with a friend to theoretically buy a ring or look at it again with new eyes. The time in between the 2 visits is so that she can, after seeing the targeted jewelry that she wants to steal, find really cheap dupes in the the storage that the gang essentially has.
Hell yeah.
And so when at the store, she would ask to see the rings in question. And she would swap them out for the dupes when the clerk wasn't looking and immediately pass the real rings to the woman that's with her.
Right.
And that way, if she's stopped, she doesn't have the rings on her. What are you talking about?
Right.
This next one is called the 3-card trick. I actually think this one is so smart. 3 women would enter the store. One is not wearing anything of note. One is wearing a fur coat that's covered by a like loose-fitting white jacket.
Okay.
The other one will come in with the woman wearing the fur jacket, and she will try on a similar kind of looking fur jacket to the one that lady has on. The lady with the fur jacket will take off the outer coat and lay it on the counter like almost immediately.
Okay.
While the third woman is kind of distracting the store manager, the woman who has tried on the coat from the store will then put on the outer coat over the jacket that belongs to the store and will leave. And then the woman in the fur coat will leave and more often than not be stopped. And she will be able to take off her coat and show that it is not the brand of the store and that it's hers. And then everyone leaves and they stole a fur coat.
So 3 women walk in. Fuck the first one. Maybe it's just causing a distraction elsewhere.
She's just distracting.
Girl number 2 is going to steal a coat.
Yes.
Girl number 3 walks in with a coat. Girl number 3 puts coat on counter, puts new coat on girl number 2. Girl number 2 leaves. Girl number 3 puts coat back on, then also leaves.
No. Okay. So there are 3 coats, right?
Okay.
One woman is wearing a fur coat and then an overcoat, like a white overcoat. When she walks in, she removes the overcoat and puts it on the counter. and then maybe like helps her friend or whatever. And then the friend is trying on fur coats. She then puts on the overcoat of her friend who had walked in with the fur coat.
And thus, like, kind of switch the identities of the people.
Yeah, and then the woman who stole it will, like, intentionally be the first to leave. And then when the woman who now has no overcoat and is just wearing her fur coat will get stopped, she's like, this is mine, and I purchased this, and this doesn't even come from your store.
The way these women live without anxiety.
I'm actually convinced that that's the case because these operations were bananas. They also had a fun trick where they would pull their arm out of the sleeve of their jacket so that their arm was just, the sleeve was just hanging, and then use that arm to rob, to grab shit.
I just imagine giant shoulder pads too. They're like, what? Shoving it into their underwear.
And sometimes they would even stuff that like sleeve so it really looked like an arm. And the only reason that we know that they did this is because a shopkeeper, I guess for some reason or whatever, was going through clothes owned by them and just found an arm, a stuffed arm in one of these jackets. In 1911, when chewing gum was gaining popularity, they would go into jewel stores, stick a piece of jewelry or whatever to the chewing gum under the counter. And then they would be stopped because they're like, hey, this piece of jewelry is missing or this jewel's missing. And they would be like, I don't have anything. Like, I'm sorry, but it wasn't me. And meanwhile, their friend is going and like brushing the bottom of the counter, picking the jewel and walking out. Their activities were actually so successful that these women oftentimes became the breadwinners of their homes. Like their husband, it was not uncommon that their husbands would not have to work if they weren't already in the underground.
I'd say the
crime.
dream, but you know how much I love my job.
Yeah, I know.
I think the real dream is just that much disposable income.
Yeah, see, like you want the benefits. Yeah. They would share their earnings maybe with their like lovers or other partners who maybe were in prison, like other partners in crime. It also provided a very unique experience for women at this time to experience this level of financial autonomy, which was not seen by other women. Also to experience this level of violence because they're literally surrounded by organized crime.
I want you to know if you try to stop me from going out with my girls tonight, hey, shh, I'll take your balls.
And I'd
you won't see it coming.
Believe them. We're going to talk about maybe my favorite character whose name is Alice Diamond. Her literal given
the grandmother of Paloma Diamond.
I hope so.
Famously snubbed actress.
I love this woman. Anyway, here is a depiction of a female shoplifter.
The caption is a female shoplifter. She is shoving a giant boot and or satchel of paper up her hoo-ha, essentially.
Yes.
But don't worry, there's 18,000 ruffles everywhere.
Yeah, you can't tell.
It's like watching a goose try to steal a purse is the best way I could describe it.
There is one story that I think I ended up cutting, but 3 women were stealing stuff and they got caught because the shopkeeper noticed that one of them had grown significantly in size while she was in the store.
Sometimes we eat lunch beforehand and then I kind of get bloated afterwards.
Like, yeah, bitch, okay.
Today I was trying to teach kids like analogy and example and like the idea of like show, don't tell, right?
Yes.
Why am I sharing this story?
I don't know.
Maybe I'm just like, I love describing pictures. Here's me describing something else. If that's the case, I'm sorry, but I'm going to finish the story. It's very short. I go, kiddo, we need like, analogy. You need to paint a picture, like show us something.
Yes.
And does that make sense? And she goes, I kind of, but no, not really. Like, do you have an example? I'm like, yeah, here's an example. Okay. Like you could add the line like, when I ate the high heels off my Polly Pocket, was that a masculine or feminine activity?
I have an immediate picture of what that looks like and feels like in my mouth.
Yeah, exactly. So is it a masculine or feminine activity?
I think that's non-binary.
Okay. That's actually so great because that's the whole point of that kid's speech.
I was like, I could see Casey doing that as well.
Yeah. And that's why it's such a good show, not tell.
Yep.
Anyways, let's get back to women doing crime.
Yeah. So now we're going to talk about their code.
Right. Okay.
Hoister Code is what they called it. So it also is kind of the reason that it differentiates them from a lot of other organized crime. Their rules are a little slightly different. Hoist, as we talked about, is a term for shoplifting. But the only reason we have record of the code that they lived by is because a man wrote them down with the intention of selling it to the press, but then never did. Incredible. 1, no drinking before a raid.
Sure.
Yeah.
Got to stay sharp.
Number 2.
Also, how you know this is a women's organization?
Yeah.
A men's organization
would
could
never do
never,
that.
No.
Number 2, early hours before bed. Early hours to bed.
Okay,
which goes against everything I know about crime, if you know anything about Bear the Fae.
She's wrong about what she knows about crime, but it goes against it.
I think all crimes occur at night. Number 3, all proceeds from a job are equally shared by the group members who were involved, no matter their role. Number 4, members cannot steal from each other, parentheses, money or boyfriends.
Oh, cute. Sisterhood.
Sisterhood.
They're all lesbians.
Now, wait a minute.
Sisterhood.
Sisters.
I do it for the gays.
Interesting. Number 5, I'm prescribing random numbers to this. These are all just rules I found.
Good, because I think we skipped 4.
No, 4 was members cannot steal from each other.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Number 5, never wear stolen clothes on the street. So they were never allowed to wear anything.
Sell it, buy yourself something
Exactly.
nice.
Number 6, if other women wanted to steal on their territory, that's fine, but you have to hand over a percentage of your profits to the gang or risk physical abuse or kidnapping if you don't.
Oh,
They were like, you're a woman. We believe that women can do crime, but prove it.
It's just crazy because a little bit like if you're robbing one neighborhood, you now have money. So now you're legitimately shopping in a different neighborhood that other members of 40 Elephants are robbing. It's a beautiful, self-sustaining ecosystem.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Number 7, do not help the police ever with anything.
Truer words have never been spoken.
So, yeah, when Marie in the first story outed everybody to the police was really
That wasn't cool.
No, that wasn't cool for them. The 40 Elephants is described as more of a co-op than a crime ring or a union with really good benefits.
I could see that, yeah.
Yeah. While there was an unequivocal leader, the lion's share of the stolen goods and the communal funds were available to help those who had been arrested make bail. They had a bail fund.
Good for them.
Or to buy fast cars for the group.
You got a fast car. I have a plan to steal the next shop.
Yep. They also had a rule to take care of the families of the members who had been jailed, which I thought was really nice. Also a bit manipulative because then if they decide to go straight while they're in jail, they come out and they're like, oh, you took care of
The family has been taken care of.
The family has been. But it didn't really seem like that was the case aside from Marie, who we talked about at the beginning, but whatever. We're going to take a quick break so I can go grab my wine. And then we're going to talk about the queens. We are going to talk about 3 of the most prominent queens.
Okay, queen.
Hell yeah.
I have developed a lot of... Oh my God, Drag Race is tomorrow. Continue.
I love that
I'm
you
ready
called
to
it
go.
a bracket.
It's
Is that what it's actually called? Okay, I was like, is that your sports boy coming out?
Not traditional. I don't have time to... Well, that's a Patreon conversation.
Cool. Excellent.
I'm right, but also that's a good question.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so this queen is considered the first queen. It's maybe not true because we don't know when this gang started, but this is largely considered the first queen. Her name is Mary Carr. Her nickname was Polly, but I'm just going to call her
Mary Carr is such a drag name. That's crazy.
Yeah. She is most often thought of as the first real leader. She was born in 1862 in Holborn, London. Her father was a bank burglar, and she was a young pickpocket. Around 1876, she is 14 and she's convicted for shoplifting for the first time. Her mother had passed away at this point, and her father was a thief and a fraudster and was likely in prison or abroad. By 1881, she was an inmate at the female penitentiary in Kent at a facility for quote-unquote fallen women run by the Church of England. It's not clear what happened to have her end up there. But she is noted for her good looks and engaging manner, which is good for a woman at that time, I guess. She had long blonde hair and worked as a model for artists and as a flower seller at Covent Garden. I bought rings there. In the late 1890s, by the late 1890s, she is the queen of the 40 Elephants. She transformed a loosely organized group of petty thieves into this like well-oiled machine that it would become. She would later be described as, quote, a disgrace to her sex, and would also be
always the most fun women, though.
Yes, exactly, and would also be the inspiration for Walter Melville's play called The Worst Woman in London.
Hell yeah,
incredible.
The Worst Woman in London.
Yeah, basically
from Sweeney Todd.
Yes, thank you.
The Worst Spies in London.
I was just thinking of.
I want you to know that was a shockingly accurate
That
depiction
was actually
of how you're supposed to sing it. I'm actually quite good at singing. not.
No, he's not.
Maybe close the door and turn them lights. I'm sorry. It's actually.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Maybe it's time
For political violence. Now you're talking.
That's why we can't ever run for office.
It's true. Over the years, Mary would take on a number of aliases, and she was also well known partially due to the following. In 1896, she was arrested for stealing the male child of a Romani woman named Michael McGee.
I'm going to steal a kid.
Yeah, like, what the fuck?
What do you mean she stole the child of a Romani woman?
Let's talk about it. First of all, I want to just name that the mother was not referred to as a Romani woman in the sources that I read. They used a slur that I'm not going to use, but he was also referred to as a traveler child. So it's possible he wasn't actually Romani. That's just me prescribing what I know about that slur. So basically, 10 months after Michael initially disappeared, he's found after a police tip in Mary's home. And so they're like, you clearly stole this child. In court, I'm just going to let you read that part.
She arrived in court, quote, in a splendid black velvet cloak trimmed with fur, over a black silk dress, her head adorned with a broad-brimmed Rembrandt hat boasting 5 ostrich feathers. On her fingers glittered 7 diamond rings,
Incredible.
valued by one journalist at more than £300, at the time when a working man's wage was less than $2 a week.
£2 a week.
Correct. Let's do math real quick. How many weeks would they have to work to make that?
150.
And that's 3 years. 3 years salary
Just
of a working
on
man.
the rings. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, love the fit. She was found guilty and sentenced to 3 years in prison.
Okay.
But here's the thing.
Of kidnapping?
So we're going to talk about it. When she was sentenced, she bowed to the judge and thanked him, I think very dramatically because it made the papers. But it is pretty possible that it is possible that she did kidnap this child for nefarious purposes, like trafficking has always been a thing. But it is also speculated that the child had been sold to Mary by the mother.
Oh, yikes.
Exactly. And then potentially Mary had the intention of then selling the kid to a childless couple. However, the most probably likely theory here is that a man named Phil Jacobs either bought or kidnapped Michael, the child, with the intention to sell him to this childless couple, but the child got ill before he could sell him, and so he just kind of left him with Mary to take care of. This version of events says that the Scotland Yard ended up finding the boy in Mary's care, and he seemed to be in good health and like totally fine.
Not distressed.
Not distressed. They were actually looking for the perpetrator of a different trafficking ring at the time that they found him.
Yikes.
Yeah. Mary allegedly, around this time that she's taking care of Michael, got wind that this kid had been fucking kidnapped or stolen and confronted Phil, who then was like, go to the cops then.
Ooh.
And part of her whole like gang's thing is
Not allowed to do that.
not allowed to talk
to do that.
the cops. So the other thing that supports the narrative that she probably was offered the child and didn't kidnap the child is that the mother was offered the child back and said no.
What?
She couldn't take care of him, I guess, and so the government put him into foster care with her approval. Yeah, isn't that nuts?
Because it's like, why then arrest and jail Mary?
Who knows? Who the fuck knows?
I mean, there's obviously arguments, like I'm forming them in my head, but also at the same time, like, if ultimate goal is well-being of the child, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly, right? Anyway, so she does spend 3 years in jail, and this is likely when her power over the 40 elephants started to wane.
What year is this again?
This is 1896. While she's away, I believe a woman named Minnie Duggan takes over for her. Minnie Duggan, I didn't see like any significant stories of her being queen or whatever, so we're not going to talk about her. But after Mary Carr is released from prison. She was arrested again in 1900 for receiving stolen goods and sentenced to 2 years. Then in 1909, she was implicated, but not convicted, of a robbery of a jeweler's shop in Ludgate Circus, London. Also been there. She was then believed to have been working in the Manchester area, where she was known as Lady Mary Carr and was invited to many of the high society functions where an accomplished thief such as herself might have a profitable few hours.
Yeah, I could imagine.
Yeah, she is believed to have passed in 1924, but obviously is survived by the 40 elephants.
Right.
So we're going to talk about the next dynasty, the next queen, Alice Diamond, potentially my favorite. She ruled as queen during this notorious interwar period. So she's the one that was queen, I believe, during the time of the first story that I talked about, the beating of Marie and her family. She was born June 20th of 1886. Hey, Gemini. She came from a very tough area. Her father had 3 criminal convictions. One of these convictions was for shoving the head of a boy through a plate glass window during a riot over housing conditions.
Oh, yikes.
And also that boy was the Lord Mayor's son.
Oh, well, you know.
And also I don't actually know if the boy was a boy, but that just
Make
fit the narrative.
the discontent personal, but yikes.
Yikes. She, Alice Diamond, was born in a workhouse. Do you know what workhouses were?
Yeah, where you're too poor to pay your debt, so you just work.
Yeah, they're institutions where people living in poverty who could not support themselves were provided food and shelter in exchange for labor. They were, through the modern lens of history, seen as the last resort. They're characterized by terrible conditions, child labor, long hours, malnutrition, neglect, and abuse. And fun fact, Charles Dickinson's Oliver Twist, the line, "Please, sir, may I have another," is a reference to the workhouses, because those workhouses were legally prohibited from providing second helpings of food.
What?
Isn't that nuts?
Legally prohibited is awful.
Awful. Anyway, at some point, she dated Burt McDonald, who we mentioned earlier, one of the McDonald brothers.
I bet she was hot and funny at parties.
Yeah. God, what was the story? I think I wrote it down somewhere, but I don't know where. The story is that her brother, Tommy, not the Tommy we mentioned earlier, her brother Tommy, got into a fight and she stepped in and Bert dragged her out of the fight. She didn't know who he was at the time, and then they dated for like a year or something after that.
I love that.
I was like, I would read that novel.
Because she's like kicking and screaming.
Yes, she's like, let me at him. And
but
he's
so strong.
Yeah,
he's so powerful.
And he's a brother to the leaders.
Yeah.
Whatever.
He's a brother, she's a sister, you know.
Interesting.
They're in it already.
Anyway, by age 17, Alice Diamond was convicted of stealing from a hat shop in Oxford Street. Also, yes, her real last name is Diamond. That is not like a criminal name or a stage name. But she was also known as Diamond Annie or Diamond Alice because she wore numerous diamond rings that around the age of 20. And she would use these diamond rings like brass knuckles when she was in fights.
Pow, pow.
Pow, pow. By 1912.
Damn, that's crazy. Sorry.
I know. Fucking so cool. In 1912, she's around 26 years old. She's convicted of stealing chocolate, which I'm like, bitch, you got so much
chocolate.
Yeah.
I remember when they first invented chocolate.
When she's around 29 years old in 1915. She is named by the police in newspapers as, quote, Queen of the 40 Thieves, officially taking over for Mary Carr. In 1916, she was arrested for stealing a labor union card from another woman. She then used that labor union card to work at a munitions factory.
Oh, shit.
It's unclear what her motive was, but the running theory is that she wanted to get her hands on explosives so that she could break into safes.
She's so smart.
I know! That's such a cool thing to do!
Because now I'm like, oh yeah, they probably just didn't let anybody work with the bombs.
Yeah.
So she had to steal the card.
Yeah. She also notably was 5'8" at the time, when the average height for men was 5'6". So she's
towering
over men.
Wait, the average height of men was how tall?
5'6".
In 1915?
Yeah.
A lot of these streetcars come out a couple years later.
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right?
I'm 6 inches taller than them.
Yeah, like those men are my height.
Right.
I make fun of them today.
Right.
Mostly. Yeah.
My partner taught me this. May, the first week in May is known as Short Kings Week. Do you know why?
No.
Because the dates are 5/1, 5/2, 5/3, 5/4, 5/6, and 5/7.
I'm gonna have to tell Casey that. He has a friend that's so short and his wife is so tall and stunning and beautiful, and it's just like so funny.
My partner has a brother-in-law who he always texts on me for his Happy Short Kings week. I've had a chance to meet this brother-in-law. Very cool guy. Passes all the chill tests.
Yeah.
Really solid vibe. Lovely husband.
Just
incredible father. Like a good man, Savannah. A good man. And yeah, I feel pretty tall around him. And I feel safe to say that because the only person from that family that's listening to it is my partner. And he might share it with him because he thinks it's hilarious, but I stand by it.
It's fine.
Stand by my man.
I do too.
I'm Paloma Diamond or whatever this girl's name is.
Alice.
Thanks.
Yep, close. Alice Diamond is 5'8". Her best friend is a woman named Maggie Hill, whose nickname is Babyface. Babyface Hill. Maggie is 4'11".
It's just the average height of a woman.
Yeah,
at
but
the time.
it's always a tall bitch and a short bitch, you know?
Going exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Maggie is also truly the definition of a wild woman. She's going to be the third queen that we talk about.
Babyface.
Also, just an iconic duo. My mom is 5'6".
Okay.
She's my height. But in Japan, that
You're
means...
only 5'6"?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
In Japan, that makes her a fucking giant. Every time I go to Japan, I'm like, oh my God. Like, I'm so tall compared to these people.
I am both excited and terrified for our trip.
You're going to feel massive for a while. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Yeah.
It justifies how much food I'm going to want to eat, so that's okay.
Honestly, they'll love that for you. But my mom remembers because she was like so tall, she would get bullied, but then she had a really short friend that she would protect from being bullied, and they were best friends. And it's incredible. Short bitch, tall bitch. Write in. Let us know your stories. Police would describe this duo of Alice and Maggie as, quote, the cleverest shoplifters in the country, and their associates regarded them as the most expert thieves in the world.
Whoa.
The Elephants, notably, had a greater propensity for violence under Alice's rule. So, I mean, the 1925 thing happened while she was queen, so it adds up.
Gotta break a few eggs if you want to make a crime ring.
I mean, you're probably not wrong. She was known to rule with an iron fist and expected absolute loyalty and obedience.
As is her right.
She spent a good amount of her time in jail, and the members of the group would always be stoked for her return because she usually spent her time in jail training new recruits for the gang. And I love the idea that there is a non-zero chance this woman converted a suffragette to be a gang member.
It's all about liberation.
It's all about liberation.
Because once you transcend the political boundary and get into
and have financial independence.
Correct.
Incredible.
Hold on. The wine is whining right now. It makes all
I love it for you, though.
This not great for on-air stuff, but it's like it makes the visual retracing of my memory, which is what I always do for this.
Way harder.
It's just everything becomes like it doesn't disappear. So I'm not like
that's what happens
drunk.
when I'm high.
It doesn't like go black. It just gets very
I'm just looking into
fuzzy.
fog.
Yeah, it's more shadowy for me right now. So there it is, found it. Just got a delay long enough.
Wild.
She reminds me a little bit of what I think it was Steve Jobs, one of Steve Jobs' kids said to him as he was passing away. He looked at, I think his daughter. I could be misattributing this quote, but it's like a tech person who says this. He's looking at his daughter as he's passing away, and he goes, I wish I had spent more time with you. And she looks at him and she goes, you just would have used it to work.
God damn.
No. So Alice Diamond just always on that grind.
Just always on the grind. Yes, 100%.
And it's in time we started to recognize female entrepreneurs in the same way we recognize Steve Jobs.
It's time,
yeah,
right? It's time. This woman made herself, right?
Yeah.
Okay. At some point, she's arrested with some members of the gang while they were casing a joint, but they hadn't actually done anything yet.
Right, not a crime.
And so...
Not a crime to plan a crime, just a crime to do the crime.
Yeah, and so they got released due to insufficient evidence. However, as they were getting released and then were immediately arrested again for a crime that they did probably
100%.
commit. However, reportedly, Alice... when she found out she was getting arrested again, shrugged and said, I'll get out of it. And she did.
Hell yeah, she did.
Queen shit.
Honeypot situation with the judge works most of the time.
Well, she would actually retire from her role as queen, or just like kind of give it up to the next person, which ended up being Maggie. She did that in the 1930s, and she took on more of an organizer role after that. She continued to be involved into the 50s. Yeah,
she has her diamonds.
Exactly. So this is a photo of Alice Diamond. Very difficult to find, by the way.
Yeah, could imagine.
Yeah, I don't know the context of this photo. It has to be a mugshot, but I don't know.
Want to say I feel like she could have been an attractive woman by the standards at the time.
You can't tell.
Yeah.
You just see, like, she's wearing a hat pulled low.
All I see, and this is my Bass Reeves story. This was the same thing. I didn't want to say it because it felt rude. But you see photos of adults from this time when photography is starting to take off and like kind of anyone can have a photo. And you're like, fetal alcohol syndrome. Fetal alcohol syndrome. Those eyes are too far apart. Fetal alcohol syndrome. Right? Like, and that is a little bit of what I've seen right here. And here's the thing. We can't do better till we know better, right? So there's like no shame in any of this.
And also she has the confidence to know that she would still seem hot.
Yeah, to pull it off. But one thing is every now and then you'll see discourse on the internet and you're like, why do people look so much older and mature in their photos as opposed to what we do now? Fetal alcohol syndrome.
Yeah.
Their faces are different and you can do calculus.
Well.
No, I can't do it well. But like I do in theory have the ability to.
Okay. Now we're going to talk about Maggie Hughes.
Please.
Maggie Hill. I believe Hill is her maiden name and then Hughes was her married name. I'm just going to call her Maggie. She ruled from the 1930s to the 1940s. Like I said, she is shoddy. She 4'11", but that's not all. She's also described as volatile and violent.
Like it's not my description, but it's shockingly close.
Thank you. I tried. She was frequently arrested for shoplifting and, yes, assaulting police officers. Well, she was also known to almost always have some combination of razors and knives on her and was not afraid to use them. Ever.
Don't carry them if you can't use them. You know what I mean? That's room for more jewels and crime otherwise.
Exactly. We only have so many pockets, ladies. She was a serial shoplifter who ran away from home and had convictions starting from the age of 14. In 1915, she was acquitted of stealing letters from businesses. Yeah.
I just want to say, starting at the age of 14 for us is like, this is a person who's still very much being raised by their parents.
So you're students.
But like,
it's
right.
A crazy age.
100 years ago, it might be like...
She's married.
She got arrested at age 14 and it really put her behind on her mortgage.
Yeah. You know what I mean? No. Well, back then a house cost
I know.
a penny or something.
Well, and also like it's probably just rent. But like a 14-year-old got arrested is maybe an adult life coming to a pause.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. In 1915, she was acquitted of stealing letters from a business. She was so tiny, so itty-bitty, that she could sneak her tiny little womanly hands into the letter boxes of businesses and would rifle around until she could find envelopes containing checks.
Oh.
The checks would then be doctored with acids and inks by some of her partners in crime, and then they would cash the check.
Right.
In 1920, her and Alice Diamond raided a West End store and stole valuable furs and gowns valued at over £1,000. The police were on their trail and traced the goods back to Alice's home, which was, I think, for a while, maybe the hub of the 40 Elephants, but were unable to find any trace of the stolen goods. Maggie was jailed for 12 months and Alice for 18 months. In 1921, Maggie is described as an expert thief, an alcoholic, and, quote, of loose morals. Yeah.
I just kind of feel like why be two if not all three?
Yeah. Right? Like, she's in a fucking gang.
What, you want me to be a raging alcoholic woman boss and celibate? What fun is that?
Yeah. In 1923, during a raid, Maggie, I think impulsively is the vibe I got, that because they meticulously plan these raids. I think the raid was going kind of fine, and she impulsively grabbed a tray of, you guessed it, 34 diamond rings.
A tray of them.
And you guessed it.
She only got 10 fingers. Add all the toes, you still got too many.
She grabbed the tray, turned around, and ran straight into a police officer. And got put away for 3 years.
Does she go, split them with you?
Yeah. Honestly, I would watch that.
That's tough. That's
so
a tough
funny.
deal. Faustian bargain.
Yeah. Towards the late 1930s, Alice actually started refusing to work with Maggie because of her increased alcoholism and increased volatile temper at the time. In 1939, Maggie was arrested and sent to prison for 4 years after blinding someone with a hat pin. I think.
What? Because, like, listen, it's not good. It's not good.
No.
But acid, you could be like, it was an accident. It slipped. But a hat pin is like 1, 2, 3, 4, you know?
Yes. I think once
She
they said it was a
went for
police
his
officer.
goddamn eyes.
And in Poetic Justice, when she was in prison for that, she lost an eye in a fight.
Ooh. Holy fuck, how bad was the fight? Sorry. I'm
know.
swearing way more with Maggie than the others, but this girl, I think she can take it.
Yes, she can. But anyway, so she's in prison for this, and that forced a new queen, I think, of the gang to be recognized. So that was technically the end of her rule. When she gets let out of prison, she fully stops thieving. I don't know what happened in prison, but
What?
stops it. And she starts working as a host for one of her brother's clubs. And then she died in
With what, one eye?
Yes.
Hi, welcome. What the hell? Listen, obviously that's fine.
Yes.
But in the 1930s and 40s, like, they're not kind,
No,
you know?
they're not. Yeah. She then died at the age of 50 in 1949.
Okay.
So that's
well,
Maggie.
she saw the end of World War II, so that's good.
Grant and his fucking silver linings over here. Okay. I don't think I actually want to say any of this. Oh, there is one story. So this is just a section of just other random facts that I ended up not sorting into these categories. Two of them we already kind of talked about, so I'll just say the other one. In 1925, one of the members, Alice Turner, was arrested after being seen stuffing a fur coat inside of her coat. When she's on trial for it, she breaks down into tears in front of the magistrate and says, like, I don't know what made me do it. Like, I'm so sorry. And then
I'm a woman. I'm insane.
yeah. And unfortunately, any sympathy that garnered from the magistrate was lost when the magistrate was then told that there were 25 other stolen goods found in her shopping bag.
Yeah. It wasn't just a one moment of like, just take it, girl.
Yeah,
it's like one more thing.
Yes.
She's like walking over like a cowboy in like
With,
a
like,
western,
and her-
and it's like.
Her dress is just
all
fucking...
of the
Yes,
jewelry and
jewels and
coins.
shit, yeah. Okay, so now we're in our last section, just legacy, just how things kind of wrap
We
up.
love a legacy section.
So we're gonna.
We love a section where we go, so here's what I think you should take away from all of this, because here's what I'm thinking.
That's it. Okay, so this is the end of a lot of their stories. So around World War II, the shoplifting in London kind of quieted down, obviously, because London was like kind of being bombed and evacuated. However, many of them who were evacuated from London kept shoplifting in whatever fucking town they were evacuated to. In the early 50s, Alice Diamond became paralyzed. She had multiple sclerosis, and that's probably why she died. She ended up she was living in the care of her sister Louisa until her death in 1952 at the age of 55. By the 60s, Shirley Pitts became the queen of the 40 Elephants. Shirley had entered the scene when Alice was still around, I believe in the 1930s. Alice at this point was serving as like a matriarch of sorts. Shirley's two parents were both thieves, and she herself had been taught to shoplift at the age of 13 by Alice Diamond herself. She was then given the title, the Queen of Shoplifters, by the newspapers. And then whenever she was going to quote unquote work, she would say she's quote gone shopping. Which
Hell yeah.
Incredible.
I mean, just love a little bit like that.
Title for the episode, I think.
Ooh, gone shopping.
Yeah, I like it.
I like that a lot too.
I've been trying to think about it.
What did I make last week's?
Tit for tat.
Not right. Yes, I did.
Because you said that on accident.
Whoops.
And I think it's funny. In the 60s, department stores started installing security systems, which, contrary to what you might think, was actually beneficial for Shirley and her crew at the time, because it actually meant in-store security got super fucking lax because no one thought they would be able to beat the system. So at the time, most of the security was like those detectors that you walk through out of stores. They're all like magnetic based. And so she figured out how to trigger them and how not to trigger them. And so she just lined her bag or whatever she was using with foil, and the machines wouldn't go off. She unfortunately would be the last queen of the 40 Elephants she would be the last queen and would serve until her death in 1992.
Okay.
That's
right
like
before I'm born.
Yeah, like
Modern era.
Considering that this
Yesterday.
gang maybe started in the 1700s and definitely started in like the mid to late 1800s, it's crazy that it lasted until almost 2000.
Right.
Anyway, at her funeral, the flower arrangement read "Gone shopping."
Cute.
I know. She was also buried in a $5,000 dress stolen from Harrods, but she would insist it wasn't stolen. But like,
It was definitely stolen. Right?
yeah, but like they had the rule not to wear things that were stolen, but also like,
They're like, we've never seen you spend $5,000 or shop before. So
yeah, you've never paid for a dress.
right.
It was unclear who was still members of the 40 Elephants at this time, how many there were or whatever. Fun fact, though, if you are interested in seeing more of this story, a version of Mary Carr's story, who was the first queen, or allegedly the first queen of the 40 Elephants, is portrayed in a Disney Plus series called 1,000 Blows, which is just released season 2 this year, 2026. Each season has 6 episodes. Erin Doherty, who is the actress who played young Princess Anne in The Crown, is playing Mary Carr. It looks really good
great.
from what I've seen, yeah. The series was also created by Stephen Knight, who also created Peaky Blinders.
It's giving a little bit also Ocean's 8.
Yes.
Have you seen the start of Ocean's 8?
I've seen clips of it. I don't know if I've seen the story.
Ocean's 8 is the all-female cast of Ocean's like 11, 12,
literally
whatever.
the last thing.
Oh,
This
yeah,
is
yeah,
Shirley
yeah.
Pitts. Right?
I mean,
she looks fucking badass.
That is a criminal. Like, that is a person who is breaking the law. You can see it in her eyes, but her hair is amazing.
Is killer.
Perfect cheekbones.
Her eyebrows are incredible. Her eyeliner is incredible.
I bet she rocked the hell out of that Harrods dress that she did steal.
Yes. Correct.
I want to know what in this photo she bought, if anything at all.
Her hair.
So you should, I think you would really enjoy
Yes,
the Ocean's 8
I'm
movie.
sure I would.
This isn't a spoiler. This is legitimately the first 4 minutes setting the scene. So it's not a spoiler. Julia Roberts, famous criminal in the Ocean's universe, right? Walks into
Does this have Anne Hathaway?
Yes, it does. And a couple others.
The woman who played Bellatrix.
Helena Bonham Carter.
Yes.
Her mom actually super interesting and stuff I have looked at several times.
Oh,
she's featured prominently in the book about Winston Churchill's first year as a prime minister. Yeah, no, and also like maybe kind of lady friends with Eleanor Roosevelt.
Whoa.
Whole world.
Fascinating.
Don't quote me on most of what I just said because it's not my episode on her mom, Helena Bonham Carter mom.
Yet.
Anyways. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Ocean's 8 starts off with Julia Roberts' character walking into like a beauty perfume area and grabbing several things like as she makes her way to the counter. But like she's obviously being stealthy about it because she's like a criminal.
Right.
And she goes up the front. She goes, "Hi, I would like to like go ahead and return these. None of these fit like my whatever. Like my husband came and bought them for me. He has no idea what my taste is. These are hideous."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Do you have the receipt?" She goes, "No, I don't carry around a piece of fucking paper with me to prove I have the receipt. Can you just reimburse it? Here's my name." And they go, "I'm so sorry, ma'am. We cannot do that." And she goes, "Well, fine. Can I at least like get a bag from you then? I don't want to have to carry these in my hand on my way back. I have other things to do." And they're like, "Of course, we're so sorry." And they like put it on the bag for her. She goes, "Thank you." And then she like walks out.
Incredible.
No, I'm not
yeah,
joking.
That's exactly what they would do. 100%.
You should honestly. It's great. I think all
I've
the
definitely
oceans
seen
are great.
clips because there's like a Met Gala scene.
Yes,
I have seen it.
The thing I like about Ocean's 8 is, as opposed to all the other ocean movies are like, we're men and this emotional relationship is important and
there's
not gay. But
a bunch
also,
of people that have very specific jobs and very incredible resumes to support them for those jobs. And then there's a white guy.
Right. The Ocean's 8 is obviously follows like that similar format, but is done in a way that I find just more interesting.
I have like the clip that I've seen over and over again is the scene where Helena Bonham Carter her character is trying to convince Anne Hathaway to wear that necklace.
Yes.
And watching Anne Hathaway act in that scene is incredible.
All I'm going to say, because now I am getting to the edge of a spoiler, I'm not going to say anything. You should watch it. I'll come over and watch it sometime.
Okay. Well, we now need to do a Patreon.
Yeah, we have a couple of ones that we got to do.
Have to watch Spirit Stallion of the Cimarron.
Kind of sounds like one of those low main evenings that we end up doing.
I think we just put a camera at us and then put
a screen grab. I
screen
think we invite
grab
whoever wants to be in Patreon with us to be part of that too. Anyways, that scene then plays again later on in the movie, and it's It's great.
Incredible. Oh
it's
yeah,
great.
they like show all the behind the scenes stuff.
The whole thing. The whole thing's great. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah,
Watch Ocean's 8.
Yeah.
This was good, girl. I really appreciated all of this.
I feel good about how it ended up turning out.
It came together really well.
I think it was interesting. There's a lot of information. A lot of it got really dry because it starts talking about the male gangs. But there is, what I was going to say is Brian McDonald wrote the book that I read like several of the chapters of for this episode. But he also wrote a separate book called Alice Diamond and the 40 Elephants. And that's the name of one of the chapters in the book that I read. But there is an entire separate book just about the 40 Elephants that I literally did not find out about until like 2 hours ago. So obviously I didn't get around to it. But if you're interested in that, read that book or watch the Disney Plus series.
So here's my question for you.
Yes.
And you kind of feel like an expert to ask this question to right now. How much money do you think his direct employees steal from him every month? Him is Jeff Bezos.
What do you mean steal?
Like if I worked for Jeff Bezos in basically any capacity that gave me access to his private home, I would never again buy an avocado.
Yeah.
I would steal all of them.
You and avocados, though.
They're expensive.
Very specific relationship. Are we talking like one employee individually or all employees as a whole?
I think all employees as a whole. How much money does Jeff Bezos lose every month to theft from his inner circle? It's not enough. It's not enough.
It's still in the range of hundreds of thousands to a million.
A month, you think?
He has billions of dollars.
Yeah.
I don't think he's clocking that.
Well, because the thing too, it's like with this many stuff, it's impossible to be like a dutiful accountant of everything.
Yeah.
So if I'm the captain of one of his two super like gaudy and horrific super yachts, what are you going to audit my like purchase order or whatever?
Exactly.
Right?
No, they're not.
Like I'm going to just order
like,
whatever I want and then
the people working on the fucking support yacht for his actual yacht could do whatever the fuck they want.
Correct. I'm just going to categorize all of this as fuel and
he's probably not considering half of the things that technically are theft as theft. Like
correct.
He's considering them operating expenses.
And because of how absolutely devious and unethical and evil and bad that man is to his core, ruined and rotten, so ruined and rotten to his core, it actually brings me back to the concept that religion might have some redeeming value because he is so fundamentally broken as an individual who should be able to experience warmth. I don't think he has ever cried in the car around Christmas time to the song Mama's Shoes, okay? Like that's how you know rotten. You could fix world hunger instantly. You could wake up tomorrow morning and said, you could get drunk tonight and drunk text somebody and fix world hunger, and you just won't do it because you're a fucking asshole. I would never pay for gas again. Like if I had like a card, like the way stuff would get buried.
I need to make you watch because I don't think I've made you watch Shang Wang. He's a comedian. He has his second special just came out and it's like okay, but his first special is really called like Sweet and Juicy, and he does this whole bit. Maybe I'll show you on Patreon or something, but it's like printing at companies is the last thing that they're giving us to stop the revolution.
Me and Lydia are the only ones that can print anymore. Lydia,
I can print if I go into the office.
Okay, if it feels pretty big. Yeah. I can print in color. In fact, I've once printed off like a friend motorcycle exam like certification. They were like, I need you to bring a physical copy to this thing, and I was like,
I need to remember that you can print
in color mass copies.
Yeah,
don't take that away from us.
Shang Wang is
they
like,
give us no school supplies.
Shang Wang is like, he's like, oh, you're gonna cut my hours. You're gonna like decrease the pay.
Right.
Might as well print out my entire Gmail account. Let's put it all on paper.
Let's keep it somewhere safe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because here's the thing. When we are looking to hire a new coach to come in and do some like contracted work with our students, or if I'm doing kind of a post-work review with the coach that we hired, which is also weird and makes me feel very like private sector whatever, but it's fun.
That's how I feel every time I have to take you to a meeting.
Good.
Like we have to talk about administration and that feels strange.
Yeah. Especially for how the rest of our relationship works. I will take them almost always to coffee. It hasn't been has not been alcohol, but I will bring them to coffee. And like I think in theory I'm supposed to use the card to pay for their coffee, and then my personal credit card to pay for mine. And I'm like,
what the fuck?
And I'm like, do you want a sandwich and a cookie? I'm getting a sandwich and a cookie as well.
Do you want a sandwich and a cookie?
Swipe. And I'm working on a drop of income that some of those people have access to.
No,
you know?
yeah, even at work, office supply theft is technically theft, which is just, it feels unreal. Like the way neither of those monitors on my desk right now I paid for. One of them, I had
getting really truthful right now, just so you know.
Okay, one of them was from my old company.
I was like, my confession, it requires me to reimburse this organization maybe $62 over the last 2 years.
One of them, I'm not going to say the source of because it wasn't technically anything to do with me. It was someone else. But the other one, my previous company had a stipend for work from home, and so I got this thing. And what are you doing?
Mo farted pretty badly.
I can't smell. They had a work stipend, and you could just buy things for basically free for your work from home setup. Right. And that monitor came in, and my company had just been bought by a bigger company. So when I said that I was quitting and transitioning to a different company, they were like, okay, great, we'll send you a box to ship the monitor back in. And I was like, great. They never shipped that box. Yeah. That's not something I'm going to say on live air. Sorry.
Amazing. I have 2 final stories to wrap us up, both pretty short.
Incredible.
First, those work from home budgets everyone got in 2021, which chef's kiss.
Incredible.
Shout out to Jacob, our dear friend Jacob, who was like, hey, I don't need $1,000 worth of school supplies.
Want this?
Do you have to go into that building with a mask on? Can I buy you some school supplies and stuff? No, such a genuinely good man.
So much.
Didn't even ask for it. Didn't give him a hard time about it. Just it across his mind. He was like, what do I need office supplies for? Grant's going to be buying stuff for students though. We should get him some stuff. Such a good man.
Him, yeah.
Second, this entire conversation of the casual thieving that is allowed in our bracket of income reminds me of an early conversation with my partner where I was talking about Friendsgiving, and I said, and then we all go around at Friendsgiving, and instead of saying what we're thankful for, which can be weird and emotional and related to family, whatever else, we all go around and say our favorite felony that we've ever committed.
Crime, not felony. Crime.
Sure.
Some were felonies, but most were crimes. And at least 2 or 3 of
Some
you
were
used
crimes, most were felonies.
At least 2 or 3 of you cited crimes I committed as your crimes, which I think was fucked up of you.
Bitch, if the U.S. Federal District Court judge wasn't going to make a difference, neither was my Friendsgiving table. And I look at my partner, and so I say that, and he goes, that's nuts. And I go, I don't think it is. He goes, I haven't ever committed
That's such a lie, and he would realize it as soon as he sat at that table.
Right, and I looked at him, and I go, hey, and we weren't saying love at the time, which is funny. So we were like, hey, you're awesome. And I think you're really great in a way I've never thought anyone else was really great.
And everything in Grant's brain was going, I love you, I
and
love you, I love you.
there's other things that maybe we could say, but I'm not going to be the first one because I've said everything else first. But I look at him and I go, hey, all of those emotions that are very positive. And I, with my own eyes in these 6 weeks, have seen you commit 3 felonies.
Yeah, you don't realize.
And he was like, oh, okay, yeah. And I go, yeah. So with all of that having been said,
goodbye.
Thank you, friends, for joining us. Continue to join us on social media. We are Well I Laughed across all platforms, trademarked probably.
We are.
Great.
Word marked if you want to get into it, because I know all the fucking details.
And we love that. Yep. Join us on Patreon for additional content. If you have stories related to crime, wild women, or chess and checkmate, or just absolutely putting someone in their place, girl, yes. Email that to wellilaughdpod@gmail.com or submit it in a form at wellilaughed.com.
Or Grant's next theme. Because now it's time I start.
No, I know. It always happens right now. As soon as you are relieved of the burden of my theme,
Yes,
you're
I'm
immediately
give me the next one.
What is the next burden?
Because I have such a hard time figuring out which stories to do for your themes. I don't know why.
Why? My theme stories are so
I know,
generic.
But I don't know why I struggle, and it's so hard. And
Your
I feel like
themes are like 3 words that every woman knows, and I'm like, fuck. Mine's like important ladies, and you're like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do?
I feel like if we look back at the record, every time I've had to delay recording, it has
My
been
theme.
your theme.
I'm not gonna look for that pattern recognition.
I'm not either.
So if you enjoy these themes, I have an idea, and you should know.
Is that a new bracelet?
We'll talk about it.
Oh.
You've just now noticed, which is fun, and we're going to talk about that on Patreon. So join us on
You
Patreon.
haven't noticed my bangs, so that's fine.
Okay, I liked it when you posted it on Instagram, and when our listener Jess/Eden called you her worst customer. So do not clock me at podcast bitch.
And then the next thing said,
We gotta
I
watch
realize,
Caleb again.
I know, yeah, we
And then
really do.
Finally, it's Pride Month. Not for you probably anymore, but for us actively right now
Pride
it
Month.
is.
And it's my birthday soon.
Right. And since most of you are queer or non-binary or both, and some of you just only wish you were, you should
Or
request
allies.
a cameo and send us some money, and we'll send you a silly little video.
I paid Grant.
Yes, she did. And the beautiful thing about San Francisco is you paid me and went, nice, and then immediately had to pay for something, and I was like, it was nice to have. You know, sometimes the real compensation is the credit card points you earn along the way.
My gift to you. Happy Pride.
And I go, oh, thank you so much. Yeah, all on this. That's
Well.
not true, but it's also at its core not true.
Well.
No, this was good. Thanks, friend.
Yeah.
All right, bye.
Love you.